Okay, we're going to spend some time now on some more cuboids, and we're going to try and find out a better way of finding the volume of those cuboids rather than just counting the cubes. Alright, so I've got quite a big piece of paper here. I'm going to go through some examples. If you want to write down some stuff whilst I'm doing it, you can make some notes in your exercise book. You don't have to draw every single one out, but you might want to draw one or two whilst I'm talking, or pause the video and copy something down. Okay. Once we're done, I'm going to set you a My Maths task, but I'm going to talk you through how to do some parts of the My Maths task. Okay, so this is the sort of thing we were doing last lesson, a little bit more complicated, a little bit bigger. So what I want to do is I want to see if we can work out how many squares there are in this cuboid, or how many cubes I should say, in this cuboid, without necessarily having to count them. But I am going to start by counting them. So you can see that on the top layer, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think that's 20 cubes. And then there are 2 layers, so I've got 40 cubes in total. So I could do it that way. But you'll notice that on the sides of this cuboid, you can see the measurements are labelled on to save me having to count the squares. And so I've got a length of 5, a width of 4, and a height of 2. So what it means I can do is it means I can calculate how many cubes there are on top by doing 5 times 4. So I could have worked that out without having to count. So that's 20 cubes on top. And then I could multiply that by the 2 as well. So that's 20 times 2. So what I've done there is I've done 5 times 4 to find out how many cubes there are on the top. And then I've multiplied it by 2 to find out how many cubes there are in total. So that's 40. So we could write down that calculation. I've done 5 times 4 to work out how many cubes there are on the top. And then I've times it by 2. And I've got 40. So let's see if we can do a similar thing over here. Look at the top. I've got 3 by 4. So that's 3 times 4 to find out how many cubes there are on the top. And I'm going to times that by the height, which is another 4. So that's 12 times 4, which is 48. That's much, much faster, isn't it, than counting the cubes. It's just to work out how many cubes there are on the top and then multiply it by the height. So let's do that here. So here I've got 3 and 6, so I've got 18 on the top, and I'm going to times that by a height of 3. So 18 times 3 is quite hard to do in my head. So that is 30, 3 eighths are 24, so 54. You can do it in any way you want, and to be honest, if you want to pick up a calculator at some point, that's fine too. So we carry on down. You can see a few more examples. We don't necessarily need to do them all, but you'll notice what happens as we go through this exercise. The first ones, they have all the lines on them. These ones, they have just little markers along the edges, and then these ones, they don't have any cubes on them at all. Alright, so they're just trying to make it a little bit more difficult, and ultimately we want to be able to do these ones as well. So here, let's look at this top left. We've got 5 in that direction and 3 in that direction. So that's 3 times 5 to find out how many are on the top, and then there's a height of 2, so that's 2, so that's 15 times 2, so I've got 30 cubes in that cuboid. This one I've got 4 times 2 for the top, so that's 8, and I've also got a height of 2 as well. So that's 2 again, so 4 times 2 is 8, times by 2 is 16. And then this one here, on the top I've got 4 times 5, which is 20. And then I'm going to times that by the height, which is 3. So that's 60. Now, in each of these cases, what I should have been doing, I was being a bit lazy, is putting some units on. And the units of volume are centimetres, centimetres, and centimetres. So that's centimetres cubed, because we've got 3 times. Don't worry too much about the units. Okay, so how come these are a bit more difficult? Well, they're a bit more difficult because the numbers are marked on, but there are no little markers on the sides like that. So you're going to have to do this yourself. So on the top, we've got 6 and 2, and the height is 4. 6 times 2 is 12, times by 4 is 48. Now, what you'll notice is in each case, we're just really multiplying those three numbers together. That's all we're really doing. We're multiplying the width and the length to get how many squares are on top, and then we're multiplying that by the height. So what we're really just doing is multiplying those three dimensions together, those three numbers. So in this case, I was just doing 5 times 3 times 2. And it really is that straightforward. So on the next one, which is the last one we'll do, it's 2 times 2 times 6. 2 times 2 times 6. And to be honest, you're going to get so good at that you're going to be doing that really, really quickly. Notice on the next question, there's not even any diagrams. We just know it's 6 by 2 by 5. So I'm just going to take those numbers, 6 by 2 by 5. 6 by 2 on the top, 5 high, doesn't actually matter. 6 times 2 is 12, times by 5 is 60. I'm not going to do any more than that. Hopefully you get the idea. And then it says here, write down a rule to calculate the volume of a cuboid. So the rule is, you do the length times by the width to find out how many squares there are on top, and times that by the height. And there you have it. We've got our rule. So we can apply that rule to any cuboid, as long as we know how many centimetres there are on the length, the width and the height. We're just going to multiply those three things together. So if we have a quick look at this MyMaths task that I want to show you, here it is. So this is the MyMaths task that I'm going to ask you to do. It's really straightforward because question 1, which I've currently got it on, is very similar to what we did last lesson. So you're just counting the cubes, and don't forget there might be some that you can't see. This is a little bit sneaky here because you can see there's some half cubes. So there's 1, 2, 3 full, another 3 full, so that's 6 full cubes and 3 halves. So you're going to have to work out how many that is in total. And then this one, be careful because you can't see the ones in the background. So what you're going to need to do is count the ones on top and then multiply it by how many layers there are. And then if you have a go at the second one, you'll notice that this is now a little bit more similar to what we've done today. So you're going to take the 3 dimensions. You're going to do 4 times 4 times 4 to get this answer here. So that's 4 times 4 times 4. And then in the second one, you do 6 times the 7 times the 1. And you can work out the answers. Now, I don't mind if you use a calculator for this. You can just use Google to be your calculator, or your phone, or if you've got a proper calculator at home, then that's fine. Obviously, it gets quite hard. I wouldn't expect many people to get this fridge question correct, so that's an extension. And so it doesn't matter if you don't get these last 4 marks. And this bottom blue one's quite hard as well. So you've got quite a few options there. You don't necessarily have to get full marks on that second page. But just remember that the rule is to find out the volume of a cuboid, you're going to multiply the length by the width by the height. You just multiply those 3 numbers together and you'll get the volume. Now, you can try that online homework more than once if you want to. I would hope that you get all the marks up to this last blue question here. So you can hopefully get all the other marks on there. So I think a reasonable score on that would be 11 or 12. Okay. Good luck, and that will be the last lesson for this week because it's bank holiday on Friday. All right.